In the distance, there was light. But for the time being, I was going through a dark night of the soul. Well, a dark year or 3, give or take. The more I touched the core of the recalled abuse, the more it reverberated and opened its tentacles wide to incorporate my entire lived experience. I felt enthralled by the dynamics of trauma. It was a living, breathing web that left nothing untouched. For the first time, it was obvious to me what a kind of a lock we live under. The past was never just in the past. I knew that already. And yet, the vibrancy with which trauma became felt in my everyday life was extraordinary. I started looking back through another lens. Why had I been so timid as a teenager, especially sexually? Why hadn't I ever felt safe being myself? Who were all these strangers, men, who laid their hands on me without my consent? I could feel all the nuances that had been with me and had bothered me for so many years. Next to each other, they all started making sense. Who had I been all these years, unbeknownst to me? It hurt to think like that. Why couldn't I have climbed out of oblivion sooner? Regret was tremendous, and I wallowed in it for a good while. Thankfully, I had good, solid guidance. I spent days and nights trying to understand, to put the pieces together. I became more spiritually adept, and my inner guidance strengthened too. Oneness is an essential element of spiritual teachings and practices. This is all nice and sweet and exalting when it comes to spirit, but can you do that with your abuser? Do you want to? This was one of the hardest notions to tackle, one of my hardest moments too. If I'm one with everything, does it mean I am one with him too? It's like an invisible enmeshment. Plus, he's a relative, so in a sense, he is and he will always be a part of me. But I don't want that kind of oneness, not with him. How do you get rid of your own kin? How do you take something out of your cells, out of your genes? So I spent the next year trying to come close to my wound. It was a thick kind of time, like moving through jelly or a thick fog. I had to spend time with myself. I turned inwards and I locked the world away, literally and metaphorically. Gathering strength took time. I started reaching out for life slowly with the little energy I had available. My attention was still very much inwards, but the fog was lifting off my back. There was some space of movement. There was some space for movement opening up. Even though my body was like still heavy and locked in place. I watched Friends a lot and Suits. I ate food that my mother gave me because I wasn't able to cook for myself. I saw my nieces and my sister. I didn't really speak to many people during that time. And to those I did, the picture was kind of gray. I had no idea how to explain what was going on inside of me. The terror and isolation of being in a room with your own thoughts 24/7 for days on end. And the excruciating beauty of glimpses into our capacity to heal and be with ourselves, for better or worse. The commitment to staying alive is extraordinary. So during that hazy separateness from myself, I entered my most vulnerable state. I was no longer who I knew myself to be. I was turned inside out, and I breathed into that new space. I had no idea, no inclination as to where I was being taken. I breathed and I stayed with the not knowing. And then one day, the terror had subsided. I could eat vegetables and go out for a drink. I could write posts and communicate with the outside world. I even watched a movie. The act of remembering broke me down. I felt isolated. I reconstructed my entire identity from scratch. It was still me, yet different. And in this new sense of self, I saw that he was still in me. He was still part of me, but on different terms. There was peace. Who knew? I let the act of the abuse in the past, and I returned to him. I gave back to him what was not mine. The shame, the disgust, the hurt. I separated his energy from mine and renamed our connection. It was no longer abuser, abused, grandparent, granddaughter, rapist, victim. I opened up space inside of me for the person who hurt me, and I saw that I was bigger. I kind of swallowed him whole. I can trace the areas that we share, like our common space together, where we are one. And instead of hurt and blame, I now see just me. I am carrying a million things. I'm inseparate to the universe, and he's part of me. I'm okay that we're one. Because when I look at the places that we intersect, I get motivated to get out there and speak. Do what I can to ensure more safety in the world, more peace, inner and outer. And there are days, of course, that I'm not okay with it. And that's okay too. I'm not saying everyone has to forgive or be okay with their abuser. Fuck that. Forgiveness to me means finding the love underneath things. The love for ourselves foremost, underneath the grief, the regret, the guilt and the shame. Things shift when we shift the way we look at them. Change does not mean the removal of the bad thing. It means looking at ourselves from a different angle. Discomfort is awful, and it's a key to understanding ourselves. Fear may eat the soul, and discomfort brings the soul out, brings the soul to the surface. So I invite you to go to your radical discomfort. I will meet you there.